The category is any percent glitched. Go. So the start of the run. It's just a couple of quick dodges. Yeah, we can't hear the game. There's no game audio. Yeah. Let's start it again. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Oh, geez. I think. Oh man. I think Pessimism doesn't realize that we're trying to reach him now. Let me stop and try to reach Pessimism. Okay, all right. He found it. He figured it out. Yeah, Pessimism was in full world record mode for a second. I was worried there. I was like, man, gonna have to start talking and there's no game audio. This is mighty off-putting.
Yo,
Okay, hey.
Rip, what up?
So first up, what capture card you're using? You're using like a Micom Soft, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. In OBS, what is your mixer looking like? You're using OBS Studio, right? Okay, hey.
Yep. Oh,
So first up, what capture card you're using? You're using like a Micom Soft, right? Okay. So let's see. In OBS, what is your mixer looking like? You're using OBS Studio, right?
So, like, yeah, everything is unmuted. Like, yep. Yeah, that's how I had it before. Like, is there game audio on the stream yet or no? Okay. I'll mute my mic and then just try to restart on. Okay. Alright, I'm going back, brother. Or, yeah, count it down. I'm restarting right now. Ready whenever you are. Actually, wait. Where's... Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're good, dude. Let me know when you're ready.
All right. We're back. It seems to be on a bit of a delay here. I'm trying to see if I can't get a more synced up stream over here. But anyways, yeah. So this is Resident Evil Code Veronica, HD edition. The category is any % glitched. This run utilizes the value swap glitch or playing manual glitch, which you'll be seeing significantly later, but mostly just changes the route, makes a few boss fights faster. Too many cats in the machine. Anyway. It's first dodge is a bit of a pain in the arse. Supposed to run forward a couple of steps, twinge to the right, and kind of slide by. In practice, a marathon run of Code Veronica tends to have zombies generally not cooperating a good 95% of the time, so gonna try and make do best we can here. I have no idea how far behind I am, also. So, what Pessimism tried to do there was squeeze by the garbage can and squeeze himself in between the zombie and the corner of the wall there.
In the security box.
But it's kind of difficult to tell whether the zombies just have good reactions or whether they're just really adept at grabbing from obscure angles, but it really could be anything. Gotta flip this lever up and grab the Eagle Medal. Flipping the lever up will open the shutter outside. It's gonna be faster to go ahead and activate the 3D printing machine instead of putting the metal in the box and using them both at the same time, because it skips a cutscene. Pessimism got bit a little bit on the way over, so using the first aid spray as a little bit of a backup strat. Your foot speed generally doesn't lower too much in Caution on Code Veronica, but it's still a fairly significant amount, I'd say. So in order to get the fire extinguisher, simply hold up, angle to the right, squeeze in the opposite direction on the way out. That last zombie likes to head you off whenever you go to grab the padlock key. It's kind of difficult to figure out if you're supposed to talk about how you're supposed to succeed or the many ways that it could fail. But that's Code Veronica for you. So by generally hugging the outside wall, you can avoid all of the zombies on the way in to getting the duraluminum case. Sometimes Carl there, that's actually that particular zombie's name. The one who was driving the truck, his name is Carl, according to an in-game file. Sometimes Carl likes to go fast. And when he goes fast, there's not really much you can do about avoiding him, even if you take really, really wide angles. Even if you run forward and angle to the right, the first zombie, for instance, is going to
metallic items you have in the security box.
sometimes reach a straight 90 degrees to the right, or maybe just turn really quickly if he's in turbo mode. The zombies have a little bit of a turbo mode, but it's kind of difficult to telegraph when they're going to do it, and because all the corridors in Code Veronica are really, really thin, there's not really a whole lot you can do about avoiding attacks. Case in point, thin corridor. One thing that runners tend to do in this game is sort of try to graze by the zombie and draw their aggro. And if done correctly, you can actually glitch out their grab detection. Reliable as anything else. So now that the run is out of the prison, We're heading up to the main area of the game. Or shall we say the main hub area of the first disc, as it were. The game was originally released on the Dreamcast, so it's a 2-disc long game. There is plenty of backtracking, yes. By the way, if anyone has any particular questions about the run, feel free to ask in chat. I am reading chat, and I'll try to shoot them in as best I can. This code is always the same every game, so if you know it in advance, you don't need to worry about randomized solutions or anything like that. Pessimism is going to be using a glitch, yes, but it's not an infinite ammo glitch. The playing manual glitch, what it does is it basically swaps the quantity value of one item or of one gun's ammo with another's quantity value. So basically he just gets a lot of ammo, but it's not infinite ammo. I'll explain a little more how it works later, like around the time he actually uses it, but for now it for now just know that that's why he's keeping the playing manual glitch, or excuse me, sorry, I just woke up. Just have it be known that that's why he's keeping the playing manual in his inventory. The solution to this is C, E, and enter. Generally, by moving in front of these zombies, you can dodge them a good 90% of the time, just by simply hugging the wall and going around the bench there. It's not always going to work though, because once again, Code Veronica zombies. It is basically the Resident Evil version of Newton's Law, Code Veronica. Anything that can is going to go wrong 100% of the time. If you thought Resident Evil 3's RNG was bad, Code Veronica's is worse. A lot of familiar faces in here. What's up, guys? Oh, wait, it is Murphy's Law? Oh, dang. No, you guys are wrong. It's totally Newton's Law. I'm kidding. Newton's Law, Code Veronica. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. But yeah, someone asked earlier about the knife. The knife is pretty strong, but it's I mean, I'd say it's about as strong as really any other Resident Evil knife. The only difference is that it can hit for multiple times. Like, basically, while the knife is colliding with the enemy hitbox, it just does, like, one tick of damage, like, every frame, basically. Just dodge over here, go forward, go behind. I think it depends on, like, whether the zombie starts moving forward or not, like how early the zombie aggroes. And if the zombie aggroes early, then, you know, just moves forward, then you just go behind him. But if not, you could feasibly get away with moving in front of him. I'm guessing Pessimism went behind because it was a little more consistent in his case. I don't know. I think it's not very far of a stretch to say that dodging Code Veronica zombies is more of a thing of feeling than it is about having any real plan to get around them. Are there any audio issues? No, there's probably not a whole lot we can do at this point. So this particular pattern here, there was just enough space for Pessimism to just go in between those 4 zombies. The first 2 lunged whenever he went to go grab the biohazard card, so he was able to just like kind of go behind them. I suppose that there's one thing about Code Veronica zombies, it's that their recovery time is not very high. So if you dodge around it, you can dodge around it again. They're not going to recover quickly and try to swing again or try to grab you again, like they will in Resident Evil Remake. The game's timing is done by in-game timer, but that timer is obviously real time because there is no way to display Code Veronica's in-game timer from a PS3 or Xbox to your PC. Actually, I have no idea if Pessimism is playing on PS3 or Xbox. I didn't ask. But as far as I can tell, it's pretty much exactly the same. Probably give or take some load times. What glitches separate? What glitches separate the glitched glitchless category, by the way? It's just the playing manual glitch, but it mostly changes up the route. It makes the Tyrant and Nosferatu fights a lot different. But yeah, this version is available on Xbox 360 and PS3. I believe Pessimism is making a quick detour, pick up some green herbs. In this case, probably recommended because if you don't have enough health going into this Bandersnatch fight here, then it's going to be kind of a disaster. This is not a knife run, by the way. Pessimism has been running with the knife throughout the entire game up to this point, but this is the only time that Pessimism actually uses the knife, because it happens to be a much better weapon, the Bandersnatch, versus the handgun, which is the only other weapon at this point. So he waits for the Bandersnatch to grab, and then runs up to it. Kind of a tough angle. His knife was bouncing off the wall a little bit, but the knife is generally going to be the fastest weapon to use against Bandersnatches, unless you had flame rounds or something, but there's only one pack of flame rounds, and it's in the prison in a very out-of-the-way place. So playing as Steve, you know, there's not really much anything to do except just go through the area. Steve killing zombies generally only affects the room that we just ran through with the gas chamber. But I would say it's generally not worth it in under pretty much any circumstance to kill the zombies. I would argue that the knife in Code Veronica actually is not overpowered, because the game is actually not balanced around knifing. The knife is just a DPS tool. That doesn't necessarily make it a good weapon. Whereas other Resident Evil games are generally built around the knife mechanics, such as Resident Evil 2 and 3. You can clear those games skillfully with the knife without taking a single hit. Very, very few people have done it, but it's possible. Wesker's knife in Extreme Battle is actually a little bit stronger. I believe that with the knife, if the blade makes contact with both the zombie's legs, like while the zombie is in a particular frame of animation, then it'll go down instantly. Pessimism seems to be missing something. Yeah, he's probably just doing an inventory check. It's okay. Yeah, he probably just had to divert his attention momentarily. So with the Eagle Plate, you actually could take this all the way back to the prison and use it there and go ahead and clear the prison first, but generally it's going to be better overall to go ahead and clear the training facility area. He waited for the zombie to reach the ledge before jumping down, because then the zombie would just be stuck in a vomit animation. I'm pretty sure Claire has full iframes, invincibility frames, whenever from a ledge. So now we have the grenade launcher. I believe throughout the first section of the game on the glitched category, not picking up a second box of ammo. Grabbing some more herbs for the sake of backup. For this camera section, you can actually pay attention to the little numbers on screen. And it will allow you to check the code on the painting at the earliest possible angle. Stupid question, what happens if one of the runner dies? Well, I hope they have a retry point. There's several retry points in Code Veronica, but in general, as long as you're paying attention to your health and you know the game well enough, then you shouldn't die. As Julian just mentioned in chat, yes, there is another glitch that you can do if you press right and X on a particular frame, then like when you're going to pick up an item on the ground. Guys, let's type 1126 in the chat. There we go. No, Pessimism actually Pessimism actually ran this game at SGDQ last year. He's actually got a better PB than me.
Level 3. Emergency shutters will close. All personnel evacuate immediately.
Like, he has like a 140 in this game. That's actually really good. The world record is, hang on, let me double check. The world record is actually 138.23 by U-Trance. I'm just assuming it's probably been a little while. That's all. But anyway, now that he has the gold key, going back to the mansion area. I'm not actually sure what the game calls that area. Yeah, not very many people have finished a knife run in this game. So Pessimism grabs the bowgun arrows that he does for the express purpose of lining up his inventory whenever he expends the gold key. Doing so will set up his inventory properly for the playing manual glitch. Squeezing to the right. It didn't matter whether Pessimism went to the right or left of that zombie, it was still a very, very high chance of biting him there. Yeah, a lot of ignoring enemies in this game, but the enemies certainly don't ignore you, nope. But basically the idea in Resident Evil is to avoid carrying any more ammo than you need. Because if you have ammo is significantly more difficult to get rid of from your inventory than a healing item. I should also mention, by the way, something I should have mentioned at the very start of the run was you can actually shake off zombies in Code Veronica without getting bit. Some animations prevent you from doing that, but if it's a slow grab, like you can categorize zombie grabs into two categories, either slow bite or fast bite. And if it's a slow bite, then you can shake them off before they bite you. But if it's a fast bite, then Claire's just and then just gets bit immediately. And there's like no way that you can exit the animation before you get bit. Like the game forces you to take damage.
Stars.
Oh Jesus Christ, that scared the shit out of me. I was about to say. Pessimism, your alerts are on. Wish someone was playing RE4, that's the only one I've played, I've never finished it. You should check out Resident Evil HD Remaster then. If Resident Evil 4 is the only one that you've played, not for nothing, you should definitely check out the other games. Resident Evil 4 is great, but the others are great too. So Pessimism has the lighter equipped. Bats just completely avoid the lighter. They just completely avoid you if you have the lighter equipped. Upon coming out here, the Bandersnatch will swing forward. He'll usually hit you if you just hold up, but if you manage to twinge to the right, or twinge towards the Bandersnatch rather, whenever he swings, then the swing will avoid you altogether. More Bandersnatches in this room. It's pretty random whether the Bandersnatches are going to hit you or not, but aside from the first one facing exactly the wrong way, Pessimism got a pretty good pattern in there for the most part. Only got hit twice. Rap battle with Karsi mid-run. I am prepared for that. Some dude stole my rhyme book. For Code Veronica HD, there are no differences as far as I can tell besides text boxes. But I believe that the US version of Code Veronica, in any other case, is slightly more difficult than the Japanese version. Rather... So pausing where Pessimism did allows the door to open. If there's a door that moves in the background, like while you actively have control of Claire, then it actually continues to move while the game is paused and in the inventory screen. Usually play the JP version of several games because of faster text and all. Isn't it the same for Code Veronica 2? Well, yeah, it's as I said. So naturally, you would play the fastest version of the game, and that would make the Japanese version the fastest version of the game. You have to have the grenade launcher equipped for Dr. Zombie and his buddy who he's nibbling on. A bad spread on these grenades. That should have actually only taken 2 grenades, but there's going to be plenty more packs of grenades for Pessimism to pick up later. A little more dodging and weaving over here. twinge to the right to avoid the first zombie, and take a wider angle around the second zombie. These puzzles will push over. A long bite there, but of course the zombie's hitbox goes and blocks the piano roll. And on the way out, I'm going to use the first aid spray in here. I think Code Veronica is probably the first Resident Evil game that just lets you outright use healing items instead of being forced to bank them before you can use them. And that was just bad luck over there. So I believe right about now is when Pessimism is going to use the playing manual glitch. Because he's about to go into the piano room over here. And that's where the explosive bolts are. I think that the explosive arrows have the best DPS of any weapon in the game. So he's got it equipped there. Then he equips the flame arrows, combines those, goes into the file menu, and reads the playing manual from there, which eliminates it from his inventory. Then he shifts the bowgun quiver into his equipment slot while still having the model and attack animation for the explosive arrows equipped. So now he basically has like 80 explosive arrows. So a little bit of zigging and zagging Pessimism gets unlucky on the last two. But once again, that's code Veronica for you. None of the zombies cooperate. A quick exploding arrow there to take out that guy. Claire has a maximum of 200 HP. I think zombie buds in general do like 20 damage each. She goes into yellow caution at 100 HP. Dragonfly object, take off the wings, use it on the keyhole in the wall. Easy peasy. Give me 1 minute. I just realized I left my drink upstairs. Drink? Drink! Okay, I'm back. Another first aid spray there for backup. Because in an any percent run, you cannot get an S rank anyway. Ranking doesn't really matter. So you can use as many first aid sprays as you want. The only way you can get an S rank in Code Veronica is by rescuing Rodrigo. And since you don't do that in an any percent run, S rank is a different category. Never played this game before. What are we missing in these skipped cutscenes and files? Basically, the game is a direct sequel to Resident Evil 2. Claire is still looking for... Claire is Chris Redfield's sister from the first game. She's still looking for him because after RA1, he left to go take down Umbrella. Basically just, sort of went underground. And since then, she's been infiltrating a bunch of Umbrella facilities until she got captured and sent to this island owned
We
by
gotta get to that airport.
the owned by a couple of crazy incestuous twins. But at this point, it turns out that it was only one twin, and he just had a split personality, and he thought that he was also his sister.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately.
And that's pretty much the gist of everything that's going on so far.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately.
But the island is basically an Umbrella prison, yes.
The self-destruct system has been activated.
And also you have Steve, who's like a Leonardo DiCaprio knockoff, and a really bad one at that. Little known fun fact, Steve actually has a different haircut in the original Dreamcast version of the game,
All personnel evacuate.
but they got rid of his, they got rid of the part down the middle in favor of like a more of a sweeping hairstyle in Code Veronica X, which is the complete edition of the game. It was only released on the Dreamcast in Japan and in the US on every other console. So there's only one version where Steve has like an actual Leonardo DiCaprio haircut.
The self-destruct system
This game came out like right after Titanic, I think, so.
all personnel evacuate.
Another thing, you also can't use the playing manual glitch on the original Dreamcast release.
All personnel
You can do it in the Dreamcast version of Code Veronica X, but in the original Dreamcast release, they do not start the game with a playing manual,
The self-destruct system
so you can't do the glitch.
activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. The self-destruct system
So for those who missed it, the playing manual glitch is pretty much the only glitch in Code Veronica X, but it's kind of a big one. I'll explain how it works really quick, because there's plenty of downtime here until the first boss fight. Basically what it does is it allows you to swap the quantity value of whatever's in your gun with another item in your inventory, like whatever gun you have equipped. No, I'm not playing. It's Pessimism who is playing. I'm just commentating.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate.
But yeah, you basically what you do is you have. Let's assume the play manual is in slot 1, your gun is in slot 2, and the item that you want to replace the quantity value with is in slot 3, right? So in this case, Pessimism wants to use the glitch to get
Destruct system has
just like a crap ton of flaming arrows, right? So he has the bowgun powder, he equips that into the bowgun. Then he has like 90 arrows in the third slot. So then what he does is instead of reading the playing manual from the inventory, he goes to the file menu, because the playing manual still exists in the file menu and also in the in the inventory simultaneously. It's like Schrodinger's playing manual, basically. But what happens is you equip the bowgun with the flaming arrows, go into the file menu, read the file from there, and doing it that way eliminates the playing manual as an item from your inventory and shifts basically what's in your equipment slot one item to the right. So by not using the equip command, we still have the bowgun equipped. Like, we still have the bowgun model and attack animation equipped. Takes anywhere between 16 to 18 bowgun or flaming arrows to take down the tyrant here. But that's the playing manual glitch in action. Basically, he just got a crap ton of flaming arrows. But the effect lasts until you no longer have, or until you equip another weapon, or until you switch to Chris. So it's best to do the playing manual glitches, Claire. By the way, guys, you should definitely follow Pessimism. He has all the world records for Resident Evil HD Remaster. Chill, dude. You can follow him at twitch.tv/pessimism. Actually carcinogen SDA, but so because Pessimism just has the flame arrows equipped, he just needs to shoot 24 flame arrows and hit the switch, and the tyrant will go bye-bye. Oh wait, there was a boss off screen? Dang. Alternatively, you could also use 3 BOW gas grenades and 2 acid rounds. BOW gas grenades, in case you were wondering, they actually cut an enemy's HP in half. They don't kill any enemies. I can't generally commentate on how to dodge zombies in this game in general, so I hope you can forgive me for that. I'm just trying to work with everything else that I can. It's kind of a tough game to commentate. Generally, you're supposed to just dodge and weave in between these spiders, but they are not very nice spiders. Just like everything else that has a grab in the random. In order to be able to proceed with the game, you actually do have to examine that valve over there. The scenario design for this whole area was pretty dumb. The event design, rather. Because the game expects you to have done this way in advance before you cut the valve handle with the machine. So we had to put the BOW gas in this room. If you played Resident Evil 2, then you would know that the BOW gas that Pessimism just sent into the room, if a BOW or like any of the monsters have like a prolonged exposure to the gas, then they actually develop additional mutations. The last spider that was hiding under the grating actually becomes a giant spider later that we have to dodge as a result of the BOW gas. So right about here. Oh. Yeah, I forgot to drop off the grenade launcher. He's going back in to do that. So right about here, Pessimism needs to drop off the grenade launcher and the bowgun with the 10 explosive arrows for Chris. But as you can see, he still has the bowgun model equipped because of the playing manual glitch. So he still has flaming arrows on Claire. They'll disappear if he accidentally equips the knife, though. Yeah, good thing you remembered when he did indeed. So grabbing the potted plant, examining the bottom, you can actually use this key from the inventory. Some dialogue boxes can be skipped that way. Now we have the valve handle. We have to go to the machine on the other side of the packing area to cut it into an octagonal shape before we can use it and go fight Nosferatu. We also need that gas mask that we got earlier because Steve was busy staring at Claire's butt while operating some heavy machinery. Broke a pipe and flooded the room with some poison gas. Those moths spread poison gas pretty randomly, so it's a little difficult to get around it all.
Okay.
So, oh geez. Oh god, check for poison. So, basically Pessimism spent too long in the poison cloud. I have no idea if he's poisoned or not, and if he's poisoned then it means that he's going to have to spend an additional 5 minutes going back to save Claire from poison. But I actually have no idea. I suppose we'll just worry about it when it gets there. So the giant worm, as long as Pessimism is stacked against the wall here, then it generally increases the chances of the worm popping out and roaring. Whenever it does a roar, that's the only frame of animation in which you can kill the worm. Everything else, the worm just like goes back onto the ground instantly. Well, the official name for the worm is actually the gulp worm. It sure is a gulp worm, all right. So by taking an inside line, you can dodge the spider 100% of the time. heading back up the elevator using the battery on the platform elevator, the mobile platform elevator, or whatever you call those things. I'm not up to terms with my construction equipment. That was an example of a fast fight. Even if Pessimism was mashing the hell out of the controller, he would have never been able to escape that. Because the game would have locked him in the animation no matter what. That's not the name he said it was. You crazy Bendox. So yeah, the code to get the Clement is 128. We want to go get the Clement first instead of grabbing the doorknob first, because if we grab the doorknob first, then there will be hunters in that room instead. I think Pessimism is just going to go straight for the dodge. Yes. Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that you could make that other hunter standing on top of the boxes not jump down at you like that. See, it's like I said, Pessimism is a little rusty, but his PB is still far better than mine. He knows things that I don't. Tried to take that corner a little too fast. My most hated enemies in this game are the blinking sweepers. They blink and blank. Yeah, sweepers are pretty terrible. If you don't know the correct dodge pattern against them, then they are definitely run-unders. Excuse me 1 second. So you kind of have to play Metal Gear Solid with these, with those robots on the ceiling. Generally more of a game of red light, green light than anything else because of your limited maneuverability options. Pretty random whether the last Bandersnatch in the game will hit you or not. Yeah, Pessimism can do Resident Evil HD Remaster, RE2, Code Veronica. Resident Evil 0. That hunter obviously had some trouble hitting him while he was on the elevator. Hunters in this game generally move about 1.5 times as quickly as Chris does. So this puzzle is a bit of a pain in the ass because the 1 liter button is broken, so you have to get 7 liters within 3 to 5 liters. Oh no, he just had to press 3 one more time and he would have had it. Okay. Don't press 5. Don't press 5, Pessimism. Don't press 5! No! See, this is why I wish Pessimism could be on commentary with me right now. Okay, just keep pressing 3. Keep pressing 3. No! Not 5! Don't press 5! Can he hear me? I don't think so. I don't think he can hear me at all. Okay, keep pressing 3. Keep pressing 3. Just keep pressing 3. That's all you gotta do. Oh. Okay, well, he did it. He did it! Yay! Yay! No, it's not that. I mean, like I said, Pessimism's PB is like 140 or something. And he got a 142 during SGDQ. So I assure you that Pessimism knows this game. I think he just hasn't played it in a while. That's all. To be fair, there is a lot to memorize in this game. As you can see, that hunter is still trying to attack him while he's riding the elevator up. He took the angle a little wide, so the hunter was able to catch up with him there. But generally with hunters, about the only way that you can dodge them is by taking as short of a line as possible before they can intercept. One thing about hunters, though, they are deaf, so you can just straight up sneak past that one. I dare say that it's actually a lot easier to sneak past that one than it is to shoot it. Those are actually infrared scopes. Those zombies are Wesker subordinates. It's hard to tell whether they just got infected, like they got overwhelmed by the number of zombies on the island, or if Wesker infected the zombies themselves. Or hey, maybe they're Rockford Island soldiers and Pessimism just attached bombs to them. Are hunters being deaf in the lore? I don't think so. It's for the very same reason that lickers are blind, and you can sneak around lickers that way. If you are quiet and you do not run. So Pessimism pops the first aid spray there because if he didn't and the sweepers in the next room did a flying head chop, he'd die. See, this is the part of the game where it becomes a straight up fight for survival because of the hunters. Well, I would say that technically factors into the lore of their death. Huh, interesting. He was able to avoid the aggro of that other hunter. Sweeper. The first name is a runner, and there is a microphone next to me. Bleh. There is a microphone next to my name. So, there's a microphone next to my name. It means that I'm commentating. Pardon my stutter there. Oh, on the exclamation mark RE command. Yeah, on that command, they're all runners. So now Pessimism has to take the 3 proofs and dodge the albinoid. Hang on just one moment. There is no Resident Evil 4 in this marathon. Resident Evil 4 is 2 hours long, but it's just not being played in this marathon. It's a little weird, but the Resident Evil 4 community is generally its own community. Clicks will be joining commentary for RE1, so Carsey doesn't have to lone wolf it for another game. Good. I'm getting kind of lonely over here. So we saved picking up the shotgun for last, because that staircase is going to raise. It actually takes only 1 arrow each to get rid of these tentacles. Upon grabbing the valve handle, we're gonna get ambushed by a lot of zombies. Move forward a little bit, then quick to turn, then run the other way. Oh, bummer. So whether the parasites burst out of the zombie's chest depends on distance and animation frames. If the zombie is like in an exact distance and an exact part of its walking cycle, then a parasite will burst out of the chest and attach itself to Chris. Cruises to Antarctica. I'm actually surprised that people generally go to Antarctica. I wouldn't say that there's really lots of ways to dodge. There's like maybe 1 or 2 ways to dodge per room, but that's also very dependent on RNG. Basically, the game is extremely not lenient. Final Fantasy VII runs are long, crazy long. There's no way to avoid damage from the ants running forward. I would say the only way to actually avoid damage from those ants at all is to shoot them all. Preferably with the submachine gun. But the submachine gun is too far out of the way to get. The only way you'd be able to get it is during an S-rank run anyway. Now that we've got an Alfred's ring, and we have the attachment for the valve handle that turns it back into a four-sided valve handle, aka the most confusing valve handle in the world, we're going to shut off the power to the elevator. And the tiger statue. And the sliding door. We have to turn off the power so that the tiger statue stays at a complete stop whenever we go to grab the gems and use them later. Just going ahead and killing that hunter now, or that sweeper now. Because getting poisoned at this stage in the game is way too risky. So there's our friend, the giant mutant spider. And we're just gonna run right back and start the boss fight. popping another one into him to make sure he's dead. So, it appears that Claire is indeed poisoned, so Pessimism has to run back and grab the serum. So now we're back in control of Claire. As you can see, the effect of the playing manual glitch wore off whenever we switched over to Chris. Claire no longer has an infinite bowgun equipped. Infinite quote-unquote bowgun. I think Pessimism is going to get the no damage here. Oh, yep, got it. Beautiful. So it's a little RNG whether you get a perfect Alexia fight here or not. Gotta wait for the fire to die down before going up the stairs. But you can fire 3 times. 3 grenades. And it's enough to take out Alexia. So now that we have the biohazard key, we use the biohazard key, we can go back, grab the 2 jewels. Those 2 jewels can be used for the music box puzzle. It's literally the same music box puzzle that was at the end of disc 1. Yeah, there is definitely a ton of backtracking in this game, but all that's left is one more dragonfly wing. That we can go to fight Alexia. Quick love tap from the flaming arrow. Then pushing that shelf for one more pack of grenade rounds. Takes about 5 or 6 grenade rounds on Alexia too. In order to get her to transform into her final form.
Will detonate in 5 minutes. All doors are now unlocked.
So we're gonna start by hitting her with the shotgun. Being that the shotgun is a hit scan gun, it's probably going to be the fastest weapon to get her to transform. Then we're going to run up to her, equip the grenade launcher. We have to get like all up against her. So like 4 or 5 shots, I think. Yeah, 5 shots. Then we just have to get her with 1 linear launcher shot. But it's probably gonna be a minute. It's rather tough to hit Alexia with the linear launcher. Just kind of sit in place, keep spamming shots, and eventually one will hit. There's no real set technique to manipulate Alexia into getting shot. She just kind of flies into it. You just have to fire a shot and hope that she flies into it, basically, like that, and that's the end of the game. GG. And the final time by end-game timer is... I mean, you can try aiming, but it's like not always gonna work. $1:52:30 in game time. I don't know, man. Code Veronica's hit detection is messy. That's the end. GG. Next up is Resident Evil 1 with Witch Rain. Joining me on the mic will be Clicks Gaming. We will be back in a moment.